Hello, everybody. I am Brandon the Starseed, and we are going to talk about probably my most passionate topic. Give you guys some time to guess. None of you are going to get it. Nobody knows me. It's all right. That's okay. Take a minute. Think about it. I mean, you could just push pause right here and try to guess, but you're going to get it wrong. Oh, wait, you already know it's in the title. Fear. That's it. Fear. It's a really simple concept, okay? Fear. Just contemplate the word for a second. All right. What are you guys afraid of? All right? Everybody's afraid of stuff. We all have fears. Some of these fears are valid. Some of these fears are legit. We're supposed to have them, okay? Rattlesnake comes, I hear it. I'm afraid. That's legit, okay? I'm supposed to be afraid. That's a rattlesnake. The motherfucker's going to kill me, all right? Black Widow, I am afraid of that shit, all right? No playing. That's cool. You can be afraid of that shit. I'm going more deep into the part of the brain where fear is the thing that holds us back. Fear is the thing that causes us to lash out at people. Fear is the thing that causes us to sometimes join mob mentalities and do crazy ass shit. Just saying. Humans do crazy ass shit. It's not like this is new either. We've been doing crazy ass shit from the beginning of time. We're going to keep doing crazy ass shit until we finally realize that, wait a second, this is some crazy ass shit. Fear. You can argue all these other things. That's fine. But I think fear, the concept of fear, the acknowledgement of this, and working around it or through it, with it, understanding it, I think this is important, it is relevant, and it is what I will talk about because it is something I am passionate about. So, I actually have kind of a slogan. Really, it's two slogans, but I like one. Be aware, not in fear. It basically means this. The more you know, and maybe not know, but the more you're aware of, the more you're starting to accept as possible. It doesn't have to be fact or non-fact. Aliens flying around in the sky. I don't know anything about it. It's not fact. It's unfact. I don't know. I'm afraid. This is a concept. I see so many people. I hear the people talk about UFOs, aliens, abductions. A lot of fear, okay? Then you get the people that aren't afraid of that. Instead, they're going, oh, no, but the government, man, they're up to something. They're probably flying around this stuff. We should be afraid of them. Chemtrails, man. Chemtrails. Yeah, that shit's going on too, maybe. But again, because we don't know, we are afraid. This is what I want to change, okay? Be aware of what could be happening. And then no fear. Do not be in fear. If you're at least a little bit aware of it, aware of the possibilities, aware of the options, it's easier to not be afraid. I will give you examples, okay? We'll talk. Let's really look at the point of why I think fear is an issue. Now, as humans, we've developed a lot of types of fears, right? That were probably for good, relevant reasons in the past. But I feel that in the last several 100,000, well, as long as there's been civilization, fear has been used by those in power to control those who are willing to be afraid. If you're no longer afraid, those in power don't have control. This is a very simple concept. It's almost kind of Gandhi-ish, you know, the way that it's basically just, hey, if you send out that energy, if a dog is coming running up to me, right, and I send out the energy that, holy shit, I'm afraid, this dog's going to kill me, these animals can pick that energy up and they react to that energy. Don't you think that maybe humans and everything else around us is also picking up that energy and reacting? Haven't you met somebody where you can tell that they're either nervous or scared? Maybe not to meet you, but maybe you've seen some stranger interacting with somebody and you can tell that there's some fear there. It affects everything. And unfortunately, some human beings, when they sense fear in others, will take advantage of that. That's cool. Do what you gotta do, right? It's like playing with the cheat code. If you gotta do it, do it. But, you know, you're playing with the cheat code, just saying. Eventually, I think a lot of the humans are going to start to realize to let go of the fear. It's the only thing that's giving them control. And them, by them, I mean whatever them you want them to be. If you're afraid of ghosts, that's giving them control. Those ghosts are going to keep fucking with you until you stop being afraid of them, all right? If you're afraid of aliens abducting you in the middle of the night, we've got a whole nother video we're going to discuss that. But the first thing But the first thing, you can't be afraid, man. If you're sending out that energy of fear, you're drawing things to you that want to prey on fear, okay? That's all it is. Why do you think people who like to be in victim mode continue to interact with people who love to victimize them? Complete coincidence, right? The universe just matches them up so perfectly. Or is it that maybe they're sensing each other, right? Just like a dog can sense fear, I think humans that take advantage of fear can sense humans who give out fear. And if you're one of those humans that's constantly giving out fear, you gotta be careful because you don't know the kinds of things that you're drawing into yourself. That's a whole nother video too, and we'll get into metaphysical and interdimensional beings and things that might be preying on or sucking like vampires on your fear or other emotions, but fear is a big one. Also, just from a practical level, fear keeps people paralyzed in their own life. Think of all of the things that in your own personal life that you wanted to do, and some fear cropped up and made you decide, nah. Now, there's some legit ones, all right? I am not skydiving. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not doing it. Why? Why would I do this? Yeah, I'm sure it's cool. You guys can, somebody's probably skydived. That's cool. You had fun. I don't need to do that at all. Yes, it's fear that's preventing me from doing it. I think it's a legit fear, and I also feel like the gain isn't worth it. So there's certain fears where it's like, hey man, you can keep that, all right? But in general, I think a lot of us have these weird, deep-seated fears. Think of it like when we were children, right? We were afraid of all sorts of stuff because we had no idea what was going on, you know? You could be at a random place like a grocery store with your parents, and some random thing could happen. And if you've never experienced this before, the first thing you do is you're afraid, you know? Imagine you're a kid, right? And you're used to always having your parents around, like, you know, you're young, like 3, 4, 5, whatever. All of a sudden, you know, you're looking at something, you look back, they're gone. That feeling, that fear, that's because you're not aware. You don't know where they are. That feeling of being unaware of the situation, of feeling helpless, creates this internal primal fear. That's the fear that controls us. We can start doing crazy shit when we are under the influence of that fear. It's worse than a drug. It's really, really strong. And for as much as it can paralyze some people, the fear can cause other people to do some crazy ass shit. You know, lynching people, bad. Salem witch trials, bad. You know, fear, bad. Causes bad things to happen. All war was fear. I know a lot of people will be like, no man, all the war is about money, land, power, oil, whatever. At the root of it, it's fear. It's because we're afraid the other people are going to take too much money, power, land, whatever, and we're afraid that we're not going to have enough money, power, land, or whatever. But in the end, we're not willing to kill somebody just because of money, power, land, or whatever. It's the fear of us not having the whatever that causes us to kill people. Fear. Yeah. So, going back to your childhood, now imagine... Now you're an adult, right? You're chilling with your parents. You're in a grocery store. You're looking at something. You're visiting your parents, like, you know, like a family gathering, right? And you're all at the store. You look at something. You look up. Your parents are gone. Do you feel that same fear? No, man. You're smart enough now. You're aware. You know that they're in one of the aisles. You also know that even if they did leave, you know, fuck it. Even if they took the car, you could get an Uber. Like. You're aware of more options. You're aware of more scenarios. You're aware that there's more going on. You're not so helpless. Being more aware will take away so much fear. And the reason I think it's good to talk about paranormal topics, to talk about things that are triggering people, all this kind of stuff, is because the more we discuss it, the more we're aware of all the different elements of it, all the different perspectives, the more we can no longer be in fear. You don't want to kill somebody when you start to understand them. And I think that's the thing we're living in now. The world is starting to understand each other more. We're realizing that we all get along better than we don't get along. We have more things in common than we have things not in common. We need to start working on that. And that's why, be aware, not in fear. That's it. Okay? So whatever you're afraid of, right? For me, I was afraid of war. Not like that I was ever going to be in war. I'm scrawny and no. Even if there was like every man to the front, they'd be like, well, Brandon, you can, we'll see. We'll call you if we really need you. I'm not a war person. But I was afraid of anything with war. Documentaries about war, reading stuff about war in history books, it made me squeamish. It made me nauseous. It made me just like, nah, nah. I did very poorly on history tests involving, I could do the dates. I knew all about the dates. But when it came to details about, say the genocide and things like that, I'm not too much, too traumatic. I just, no, like, see no evil. Up until probably a few months ago, and all of a sudden it was like, look. So I've watched documentaries. I've forced myself to face these fears and look at them, watch them, understand what happened, go back through the history, get over the queasy feeling, get over the nausea and the like, oh, this is horrible, the shame of what humans have done. Get over all of that and see it, move through it, experience the fear, and eventually let go of it. I don't know why I was drawn to do that recently, but I was. I've never been drawn to that kind of stuff in the past, and I was all of a sudden. And I think that's important for each person to have their own things that they're kind of afraid of, whether it's communicating with people, whether it's, going out and putting yourself out there and talking about your ideas, or, there's obviously a lot of people that are, with the LGBT movement, there's a lot of people that are big on really getting out there and talking about these things. Not so much that, there's plenty of people that are still in the closet that need to come out, and I get that. But also, there's plenty of people who just are living their normal lives, and if they just talked to more people about anything, whether it's homosexuality or whether it's different religions or whether it's different races, if we just all talked to each other more and knew more, we were aware more, we would fear all of it less. Okay, it's like gossip, right? Somebody tells you one little tiny piece of gossip that can cause all this fear, especially workplace gossip, right? You're like, oh shit man, now I'm afraid of something, right? If you knew more, if you talked to more people, if more people interacted and cleared things up, communicated concept, you think you'd be that afraid? Probably not, okay? So keep that in mind. You have to learn to let it go. The first thing and the hardest thing, I think, is realizing the things you're afraid of. A lot of us don't want to admit the deep ones. So don't go for the deep ones right away. Leave them alone. Get back to them later. Start with the ones that are simple and you're only a little afraid, right? Like, hey, I don't like, like for me, I pick and choose my battles. There's certain things where it's like, I'm afraid of certain things for irrelevant reasons, like needles. I don't like needles or blood. I've been able to watch a lot more documentaries involving blood, and it hasn't affected me as much as it used to. I'm not watching needles, though. Maybe in the future. There might be a time, maybe even like tomorrow, I'll randomly watch a documentary, I'll start getting into seeing needles more, and it'll help me get over that fear. Just talking about that, though, has told me that no, it's not going to be tomorrow. That is a deep one for me. I don't know where that comes from. So each of us has our real trigger fears, and we can work towards those. Work towards them. Start with something simple, little things, okay? And work on them. And when you notice fear, identify it, acknowledge it. If you're having a conversation with somebody and something they said gets you riled up, and you look at that, okay? Think about it. Go, hey, whoa, why is this getting me riled up? What? They're using words and it's getting me emotion. What's going on here? There's a word equal emotion. It's the missing part of the equation there, right? Fear. Words plus your fear equals emotion. You can have words plus awareness or curiosity, better emotion. So when you see yourself going into negative emotions, and that's being really broad because negative is a weird way of framing things, but you know what I mean. When you are in emotional states in which you're not happy being in, they're uncomfortable for you, identify what got you in that state. And I'll bet a lot of the times, at least with me, it gets to the root that it's almost always fear. Some inner fear, some fear about something caused me to lash out or say this or feel this way or get afraid of this or be paranoid about this or change this or not do this or... and we all do that. And again, there's plenty of things to be afraid of that are legit. I wear a seatbelt all the time. If I don't, my car will beep at me and yell at me. That's a legit thing. Like, I knew people who will never drive. If they get in a car and there's no seatbelt, they're like, nah, dude, I'm afraid of driving in a car without a seatbelt. There's other people who will never use a seatbelt. We all have our own little things. I think everyone should use a seatbelt. Personal opinion. That's kind of crazy, but whatever. But you got to kind of figure out what it is in your life that does it. We all have fears, man. I think the bigger one is fear of rejection, fear of not being accepted by others. They're kind of the same thing, you know? But you can get that non acceptance and not get rejection. It's like you can get that in between that's almost worse, right? Like you're not accepted, but you're not rejected. So you're like limbo mode. These are things that people don't realize how much the fears of them cause them to do things. You know, every time you see somebody, you know, talk their friend into doing something, you know, hey man, you should ride your bike off this giant hill onto this giant ramp, jump over that bus over there, you'll be fine. I'll videotape it. You'd think the fear of all of that would have stopped him, but no, the fear of his friend thinking he's like, you know, like whatever makes him do it. Like the fear of your own life sometimes is overcome by the fear of letting other people down. That's crazy shit, man. So there you go. Be aware, not in fear. Work on it. I'm working on it. We're all working on it. It's a good thing to work on, and it's a good thing to identify. You can improve your relationships with others when you realize that most of the time when you're arguing with others or you're angry at others, it's due to some kind of inner conflict or some kind of inner fear. And communication, both internally and with others, will almost always help clarify these types of things and slowly get them to go away, or at least be less bothersome. So, hey, fear. Well, thanks for watching, you guys. Enjoy, and I will see you next time. Bye.